Pokémon Scarlet and Pokémon Violet seem to take inspiration on various parts of the Iberian Peninsula in order to build their world, but there is one specific place in the Paldea map that takes a lot more inspiration from something that isn't actually real, but in fact a work of fiction. So I started looking into everything I could, not only in-game, no, in real life as well, trying to see how I could connect dots that maybe aren't actually there, but that is sometimes how we find very interesting things that spark interesting discussions in the comments, and that's what I really like. And after giving it some thought, quite a bit of thought actually, I can finally find some extra connections that might weigh in on not only the Paradox Pokemon, but also Terapagos itself. So hey, I'm not so a strainer, and what am I talking about? Let's get into it. This all started before the announcement of the DLC for Pokémon Scarlet and Pokémon Violet. I never thought it was gonna be Kalos, but when trying to find a Kalos connection to satisfy the Gen 6 needs of the Pokémon community, I found myself looking at Area Zero and being very intrigued by how much it looked like what's described in The Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne. In that novel, they embark on a journey through a crater and encounter various geological wonders and prehistoric creatures along the way. Oh, and it's always daytime in that place. That's Pokémon Scarlet. For Violet, you have the cult classic Disney movie Atlantis: The Lost Empire, which is heavily inspired by the work of Jules Verne, and instead of prehistoric creatures, they find advanced technology. And the scene where the professor is going into the time machine is very similar to how Kid arises when she connects to the art of Atlantis, which goes hand in hand with how the text files are also naming Area Zero as Atlantis. All of this that I mentioned, I've talked about before in previous videos, but after the DLC was announced, I never really touched back on the subject. But the DLC, well, it brings some more to the table. Oh, and also let me thank Isaac for sending some really cool stuff to my PO box to make the set look even better. Man, thank you so much for your support. And now, well, now let's carry on. After we got the announcement for the DLC, two things became really apparent, and people were quick to talk about that. In the first part of the DLC, the Teal Mask will very likely be dealing with yet another big focus on a work of fiction, this time the tale of Momotaro. I have talked about it countless times, but just so you don't have to check for yourself or watch my other video on that, a boy is born from a beach and goes out to take down the demons that have been terrorizing his village. It does that with the help of a dog, a monkey and a pheasant. You see, all the pieces fit. But that isn't the only thing. The moment we saw a turtle in the second part of the DLC, the Indigo Disc, we were once again very quick to point out that there is a big chance we'll see this draw inspiration on yet another work of fiction, this time Urashima Taro. In this one, a fisherman saves a turtle that eventually takes him to the underwater dragon palace, where time doesn't flow the same, and when the man leaves with a gift box, 300 years have passed, everyone he knows is dead, and when he opens the box, it contains all of his age and bam, is gone. In some instances of this tale, like Young Reckless pointed out on a previous video of mine, the man doesn't save a regular turtle, but actually a small turtle, the princess turtle, and then a big turtle comes and takes the man to the underwater palace. You see what I'm talking about? Big turtle, small turtle, everything fits. They're going really hard on works of fiction. And if you think about it, the whole game kind of revolves around works of fiction, because the Violet book and the Scarlet book, they're deemed works of fiction by the Paldean people. And yeah, we're once again back at that oh so familiar point where the Paradox Pokemon and everything Heath talked about comes right back to haunt us. And this is where I started going a tiny bit deeper into the whole thing. You know my stance on the Paradox Pokemon, I never made that private in any way, shape or form. They are the products of imagination. They are real, but they are also not real. One could even say that they're kind of like a real illusion or like a real dream. And that's when it finally hit me. All of those years studying here in my homeland of Portugal that I thought were gonna go to waste, I can finally apply them. What are the two most famous authors from Portugal and Spain, the Iberian Peninsula? Well, that goes for Miguel Cervantes for Spain and Fernando Pessoa for Portugal. Both of these authors have many works, but there's a very specific thing that hit me while thinking about their most famous works and quotes. Miguel Cervantes is of course the author for Don Quixote de la Mancha. This is a complex novel with multiple themes and interpretations, but while different readers may draw various lessons and morals from the story, a commonly discussed moral of the novel revolves around the power of imagination and the contrast between reality and illusion. How someone's illusion can become their reality. That's because Don Quixote hallucinates multiple times throughout the novel, confusing inns with grand castles, common people with nobility, and, the most famous of all, confusing windmills with giants and even trying to battle them and losing Funnily enough, one of the Titan Pokémon in Pokémon Scarlet and Pokémon Violet, the Open Sky Titan, the Bombardier, happens close to the windmills of Paldea, for example. And then there's Fernando Pessoa. While his most famous work is the Book of Disquiet, which basically is a strange autobiography type of thing where he questions everything, his most famous quote of all is a poem where he says, "I am nothing, I'll never be anything. I couldn't want to be something. Apart from that, I have in me all the dreams in the world." This hit me specifically because of something that I mentioned on a previous video of mine that I loved working on, and that was, in a way, wrong, but that tries to connect Heath to the professors, to the Paradox Pokemon and to the Disc Pokemon, and those are the Akashic Records, which in a way do have all the dreams in the world in them. They're basically a concept of a compendium of everything that was, is and will be. There's no then, it's always now. Everything is connected, and some believe that everything about Atlantis is there, so everything comes full circle. And if you're good at it, like really good at accessing that specific realm of existence, you can actually manifest things that only exist in that place, in that strange place where every thought, every word, and every dream is. All of this together, all the focus on fiction and a Paradox Pokemon mystery about being real or not real, making no sense but actually being someone's reality, all of it seems to lead into that specific picture of the Disc Pokemon, that picture with the turtle on top of a ball or a disc that seems to glow. This will very likely be a new form for Terapagos. How it can reach it is still a question that we don't have an answer to. Maybe it has something to do with the baby turtle, maybe if you get enough of those it gets enough power to evolve or to transform, or maybe it is just an evolution. Maybe it is just a terraform like G-Max Pokemon existed. But it is strange that it seems to be held on to something or to hold something, and that around it, all around it, we see hints at mountains, seas, stars, planets, hints at everything. Everything that was, is, and will be. Everything one can dream of. And maybe that's it. Just like the windmills for Don Quixote, the Paradox Pokemon were someone's illusion, someone's dream, but it became real. Because Terapagos, or at least that form of Terapagos, well, it has in itself all the dreams in the world. And that is all I have for you today, just a little bit of a crazy theory that is based on me reading too much into things probably. But what about you? Do you believe that the Disc Pokemon is an evolution or a form of Terapagos? Let me know in the comments down below. And also, before I go, let me thank my Twitch viewer Minute Strike for claiming the shoutout for this video. Thank you so much for your support. And also, check out their Pokemon Remix channel, Illusion Battalion Studio. I'll leave a link down below. And now, like the video if you like it, dislike if you don't, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pokemon content, and also ring the bell so you know when the next video is out. You can follow me on social media and Twitch, in there Wednesday to Sunday, not Saturday, or join our Discord. All the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.